Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news. Now today we have, hey yo man, we got we got Krishan Rock on her appetites, man. We gonna talk a little bit about that, man, letting you know what she got a craving for. You know what I mean? We also got we got Tracks NYC begging 50 Cent for his forgiveness, man. You know what I mean? And he's going about it a very interesting way. We're gonna tell you a little bit about that. Macys getting hit with a lawsuit over the Diddler, man. We got Bow Wow. You know what I'm saying? Just Bow Wow. All right. We got Jason Leon getting calls about Jay-Z and Beyonce, man, and how it's creeping them out. And we also got FEMA and Young Dro on Addiction with T.I. Again, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source Show. If this is your first time to the channel, man, be sure to hit that like button if you're feeling any part of the content. We definitely appreciate that. That notification bell's waiting for your tap, so go on and give it a tap. And that subscribe button's waiting for your subscription, man. So go on and tell us that check this out, man. We got Krishan Rock talking about, you know what I'm saying, her appetites is starting to, switch up a little bit because she had a craving, a desire, and she wanted to munch on one thing, and now her appetites are changing up a little bit. Take a listen to what she had to say.
I don't know, my appetite is different. I don't have an appetite for weed, smoking, but I don't have an appetite for drinking. I don't have an appetite for sex out of marriage. I don't have an appetite for confusing things.
You woke up with that epiphany, or was that a journey?
I've been done with all of it for a very long time, but again, we're all helpless. So as much as we think we can do this on our own, like, oh yeah, I can stop doing this or messing with him, or you're just so unsure. You're not strong enough. Like, you don't want the strength from this world. You want the strength from the word of God. Yeah. So once I start I was reading so much that my heart started doing that. And my fasting became like a thing that I do like all the time. And those bondages just fell off. And we fast to be close with God and for him to help us turn away and basically put down our cross and pick up his. It's just like how in the Bible, it was the story when he was popping it. He was popping the word. Right. And the message from that story I was reading, I just put in my own mnemonics on it. He was basically saying he's right there. Like, I like to fast just to be shoulder to shoulder with God. Like, I can hear the spirit clearer. And then I
didn't think she was gonna go in that direction. Yeah, well, she went in that direction. So what? Okay, let me just throw this out here to you. All right. One of the things that she mentioned is fasting. Okay, fasting. Now, fasting. Let me just throw to you, right, what fasting is about, especially when we're talking about in the realm of Christianity. See, generally people would fast in order to get closer to God, and what fasting does is it silences the cravings of the flesh, right? Our fleshly nature, because it's sinful, it has certain cravings that are very, very base, okay, and very fleshly in a sense, right? So we crave alcohol, we crave substances, we crave we're greedy, right, for food, sex, all these things that are base that God tells us to have power and control over. When people fast, right, it's supposed to be illustrating that someone feels so broken before God, right, that they feel so jacked up about their situation before God that they don't even want to eat. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be mimicking. It's supposed to be illustrating that, where you are so broken before God and you're so, like how you feel like if you found out, you lost a family member, or you just suddenly found out that some kind of crazy trauma has taken place. You found out your spouse is cheating on you, and then you don't want to eat. You lose your appetite. That's what fasting is supposed to simulate. It's supposed to simulate your utter brokenness to the situation that you got going on, and therefore you don't want to eat. Okay, so a lot of people, they want to simulate that with God, that God, I'm so broken before you that I don't even want to eat, and I'm going to silence the voice of my flesh. Okay, the other thing is this. I'm glad to see her in this space, right? And I think that fasting helps because, it does draw you closer to God when you do fast, right? Because you're trying to silence the voice of your flesh, which is largely the thing that'll make you do, like the flesh is opposed to the spirit, and the spirit is opposed to the flesh. You understand what I'm saying? And if you are subject to your flesh, then you cannot please God. In fact, the scripture says exactly that in the book of Romans. It says if you are giving in to the cravings of your flesh all the time, then you cannot please God. It is impossible for a person who is controlled by their sinful nature to please God. All right, because the sinful nature is hostile to God, and it cannot obey God's laws. It never will. All right, and this is why we have to be controlled by the Spirit of God. If you're controlled by the Spirit of God, that means you have the Spirit of God living inside of you. All right, and if the Spirit of God is living inside of you, I mean, Christ is living inside of you, then it is that same Spirit that will raise you from the dead. That's what the scriptures teach, okay? Romans chapter 8, it says that the Holy Spirit is inside of Christians, and it is what raises them from the dead in the same manner that the Holy Spirit raised Christ from the dead. Christ said he will raise himself from the dead. It's also stated that the Holy Spirit raised him from the dead. It states that the Father raised him from the dead. You understand what I'm saying? And that same Holy Spirit is also what helps us to pray. So even when you don't even know what to say in your prayers because you're so overwhelmed, then the Holy Spirit inside of you will make the petition to God the Father on your behalf. It's a beautiful package. And that's why the scripture says all things work together for good to those that love God and to those that are called according to God's purpose. You see what I'm saying? Did I scare you a little bit? Do I need to talk about drugs and what people are doing with their buns? Because a lot of y'all get nervous when I talk about God, but not about buns. Let me give you this. Okay. Shout out to Krishan Rock. Yo, we pray and we hope that she remains on this path. Sometimes, like, I stopped eating McDonald's and I no longer had an appetite for it. And then after a while, when I got a taste of the McDonald's later on, it'd be like, this is nasty. I almost felt like I want to throw up, or it feels like it's made out of nothing but chemicals. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her. Hopefully she remains on the path. But let me just throw this out here, okay? Let me just throw this out here. If you are walking this walk with God, right, and then you turn from God and turn from the light that you've been exposed to, right, and then you go back to your old ways, you can get to a point where, in a sense, you can crucify Christ afresh. You understand what I'm saying? This is called an apostate. It's in Hebrews chapter 6, where the scripture says that it is impossible for those who have received the good pleasures of God and the power of the world to come. It is impossible to renew those kinds of people. How can I say it? It's impossible to bring them back to repentance after they've been enlightened. This is what happened to Judas. He tasted the goodness of the word of God. He tasted the power of the age to come. And after he got all of that goodness, right, he turned away from God. And then it was impossible to renew him to repentance, because by rejecting God a second time, it's almost like he crucified him once again. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he publicly did that. All right. And the scripture says that those people, they cannot come back. It is a form of blaspheming the Holy Spirit. We'll get to that another time. Listen, we reported to you a couple days ago, right, that Trax NYC was being sued by 50 Cent to the tune of $5 million. You know what I'm saying? Because he made cross pieces using 50 Cent's image and likeness. Now, 50 Cent said he's suing bro, and he gonna want his papers by Monday. Okay? Bro trying to beg for forgiveness instead of asking for permission, and Fifth said he ain't trying to hear none of that. Okay? Now, Trax NYC is going an extra step, and he decided to go to Fifth's old stomping ground, South Jamaica, Queens, South Side, right? Jamaica, Queens, and he wanted to give out silver bars to the people that live in the area. Now, each silver bar is worth $1K. Take a look at this joint real quick.
Yo, 50. We got 50 kilos for you right here. Except it's for your hood. I'm in your old hood, giving out 50 kilos of silver, sir. A kilogram of silver, please. There you go. Thank you. For you, man. I don't need your image. Your videos are down. I hope we could call it a day in a respectful manner like two grown men. I'm here on Guy Brewer and 134, all right, for 50 Cent. Thank you so much. It's worth over $50,000, and it's for people who need it. Sir? What? As far as your cross is concerned, it was a beautiful cross. You're not Jesus Christ. You don't own the cross, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you.
Go, bro. You gotta go, bro.
My bad, bro.
You gotta leave, bro.
Okay, well, let me put my stuff away. Part 2. Please, for 50 Cent, all right? For 50, for you, please, man. Just trying to resolve this conflict in the spirit of the Lord, bro. You've got better things to do. You got Diddy, you got baby oil, you got everything you need, man. What do you need me for?
Take it. Yes.
Sir? No, it's worth it.
Oh, thank you so much.
For you, sir. Yes, sir. Only one per person, man. Instead of giving money to lawyers, let's do the right thing and handle it like men. I know you're a grown man. I know you can handle yourself, you know what I'm saying? Kilo? A kilo for 50, please. It's too heavy. Here you go, sir. I hope we call it a day. Let's leave it at this. I hope we can keep it respectful. God bless, and good luck. Diddy's waiting for you, brother.
I don't know how I feel about that, man. Look, it seems like he's trying to get the support or the appeal of public opinion. You know what I mean? But I guess my whole thing is when I don't get the sense of humility, I feel like I can't trust the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I always feel like whenever there's any kind of apology or whatever, I feel like I need to see humility attached to it. And if I don't, then I feel like it doesn't. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the way I feel. I could be wrong. Okay. But I feel like he should ask for permission as opposed to beg for forgiveness. Probably because like when you're proud, you know what I mean? Asking for permission, it might feel submissive. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why they decide, well, I'll just ask for forgiveness on the back end. You know what I mean? But look, apparently not asking for permission is costly, ain't it? Let me give you this tragic piece of information. What's my time looking like? 8 minutes. Listen. Macys. You know, Macys, like the company or the corporation that does the damn Santa's Village and Thanksgiving Day parade. Macys was hit with a lawsuit, man. Apparently, it's been stated that there is a lawsuit accusing the company of covering up an incident where Diddy orally violated, that's the R word, a former employee in a damn stockroom. That's insane to me. Let me ask you a question. You think a person would lie in a lawsuit against a whole company of Macys, man? And the person that filed the lawsuit is a man. Not that it should matter, but the lawsuit claims that it happened while bro was surrounded by armed guards. Diddy's armed guards. Meanwhile, Bow Wow's is saying the industry is feeling Diddy's absence because there's no parties going on. You see what I'm saying? The plaintiff, right? The guy that's saying that he wants to sue Macys. That's a nice car. The guy that's saying that he wants to sue Macys, right? Stating that he was injured and threatened and he received no follow-up after reporting the incident to security, okay? He was later barred from the store. You're like, when did this happen? Why? What if it happened the same day that Cassie got hands and feet put on her, okay? Does it mean it didn't happen? Does when it happened make a difference? You understand what I'm saying? Should someone be able to slide like they on some baby oil or something like that because they violated your kids 20 years ago as opposed to 19? See, this allegedly happened according to the lawsuit at the flagship Herald Square store, all right? It's believed that the store was trying to protect a multi-million-dollar deal with Combs' Sean John clothing brand. Do you see the evil? See, that's why I think all of this stuff needs to be exposed, because from armed bodyguards, who should be thrown under the jail too, right? If they find this stuff out, okay, and there were really armed guards, they should get just as much time as the diddler would, okay? From armed bodyguards to cover-ups, all of this evil needs to be exposed, and all of these people need to be incinerated. Corporations and everything, I don't care, man. It don't matter whether they employing people. What good is employing people if this kind of insanity goes on? Now, with all of that in mind, take a listen to Bow Wow's concerns about the pain that the industry is experiencing from Diddy's absence. Take a listen.
I would never thought that we would see him in this position, ever.
Even with all the rumors that I've always circulated.
Never. Just never thought I'd see it like this. Like, nah. He's like the gatekeeper to the game, to the point to where what weekend just passed? Like BT Award weekend, it didn't, like the past two, they just didn't feel right because there was no motion, there was no parties, there was nowhere to go. Like,
let's be very specific between parties and freak-offs.
No, the industry, like the parties that we attend, like there's me, the Terrences,
I left before one. I never stayed. I've only been to 2 parties and I've never seen a freak-off.
Yeah, but it shows, and once again, I'm separated, right? I'm talking about him as the artist, the person, right? How monumental and how important he was to the culture, because I said, Jermaine, there's no parties. Every year, dude he had the, and you feel it, it's like a hole. It's like, damn, we ain't gonna, he was just such a gatekeeper for him, the liquor in the clubs, he was everything hip hop.
Tone deaf with a capital T. That's why I love having a channel, because I love to be able to show that, hey, look, this is what like these people that have all of this money, right? The way I look at it is this, man. I feel like a lot of the stuff that goes on I think what I really hate about it, right? Because I think I want to say I love people, right? I want to say I love people, and I want to see the best for people. I want to see people thrive. I love seeing people happy. I love seeing people joyous. I love seeing people like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when I show you the memes of the people laughing all together, how black people be laughing type stuff. Like, I love people, man, and I hate to see them hurt. And it's in this industry where it is now coming out that so many people have been violated and hurt by people, and it's been able to go on because people make so much money. Like that blows my mind. And money should not allow a person to harm another person. You understand what I'm saying, man? Let me give you this. Let me see what's my time like. Let me give you this one real quick. Jason Lee, okay? Jason Lee has recently stated that he's been getting a boatload of phone calls about Jay-Z and Beyonce. And he said, if you come up missing, he said he wants you to know he's been getting a lot of calls about Jay. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Jason Lee, I'm getting calls, and I haven't even said anything. They ain't called me to go to the Rock Nation brunch. They haven't called me to go to the Gold Party.
To accept being honored.
They haven't called me when we offered to honor Jay-Z at the award show. They didn't call me to go to the press conference about striking the deal with the NFL while we were kneeling for Kaepernick. They didn't call me to ask me what I thought about her hair care product. They didn't call me to offer a free bottle of her perfume. I didn't get to go backstage on her tour for the Renaissance. In fact, when the video circulated making it look like I've been chasing her around like a super fan, which I am a super fan, but I chase nobody. Nobody's called me to clear that up. I haven't gotten a delivery of white flowers with a little card from Beyonce. Why is everybody calling me now?
Oh, and you also stopped.
We not gonna even go there. I stopped a major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you. So why is everybody calling me now? Because I'm a firefighter. Because I run towards fires and I put them out, or I fan the flames. But why is everybody calling me now? And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this. Do your thing, TikTok. Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to see this. I am exhausted with people calling me about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've never called for anything else, and I haven't even said anything about you yet. And yet I'm getting all these calls. I've gotten more calls over the weekend about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know, I think this is an opportunity to have a bridge and have a conversation about how this thing works, because I'm not a publicist. I am not I'm just Jason, okay? And I have opinions about unlocking Hollywood. Remember I said at the top of the show, or somewhere in the show, that I was in love with the entertainment industry until I found out it was Jeffrey Dahmer. This is part of the gnawing at the wrist that the industry does. You know, black excellence, we don't show up for each other like we should. And then when the shit's about to hit the fan or some shit, you think I'm gonna go fan some shit. Now you're showing up. You know, again, I'm not angry. I'm a little disappointed, because as much as I've loved this woman for years, I told you I don't like her as much as I used to. I still love her, but I'm not as super fan like I used to be. You know how much I was this woman, this is everything. And this together is everything. But is it? I think this is an opportunity to have a conversation, because I believe that we as a culture should be very supportive of each other before this stuff happens, so that way our proximity to it can help us tell the real story. That's why we got to be working together to tell our stories. But I will tell you, to the audience, if I do come up missing, all the calls I've been getting have been about him. And listen, I haven't had any threatening calls. Nobody has said that they're going to hurt me, so I want to go on record for that.
What an industry, man. I feel like I hate the idea of the reality of what I feel Jason Lee is suggesting. You understand what I'm saying? Not to say that what he's saying is not a reality. I think I hate the fact that what I understand him to be suggesting actually can be a reality. You understand what I'm trying to say without saying it? Let me keep it moving. I don't want to get on my conspiracy jump off. You know what I mean? But I feel like with like a lot of these, I feel like it's very easy for a lot of platforms, big platforms. Like, here's what I know. And I'm just telling you what I observe, okay? When DJ Academics is one of the largest platforms out here. His billboards are the biggest. When I say his billboards, I mean his platform is insane. DJ Academics, like, you know what I mean? In a lot of ways, DJ Academics is considered legendary in the field of podcasting or what have you. Okay, whether you like him or not, that's not the question at hand. Is his platform legendary? Yes, it's legendarily huge. Okay, when Takeoff was murdered, right? DJ Academics was doing a play-by-play, and then while he was doing the play-by-play, it seemed like he was leaning in the direction of implicating the princes, right? He was leaning in that direction based off of what he said. And I mean, it was very, very strong. But then it would be like, let's say maybe a day passed, something happened, and then he came back and was like, it has definitely got nothing to do with the princes. The princes are a completely good people, good upstanding people. And the pivot that he did was so drastic. Most people was like, oh shoot, it sounded like someone contacted him and told him, you better cut it out. Now, and we don't know why or what it was, but that pivot was so drastic and it was so quick that it seemed like something went down that caused him to change directions. And what I'm saying is this. It sounds like Jason Lee is suggesting that that people could be trying to get him to say certain things. And you know what people do? They'll threaten your money. They'll threaten your person. They'll threaten your family. I guess what I'm saying is, how far will people go to protect their assets, to protect their investments? It is true though, like, yo, I don't want nobody talking crazy about my family, especially if it ain't true. But, you know, I mean, I don't know. All right, let me give you this next story. What's my time looking like? Let me give you this next story before I go to my shout outs real quick, right? Because, I only got two more. So, let me give you this next. And I'm going to tell you right now. Initially, I did not want to post this next story that I'm going to go over. I did not want to post it. All right. In fact, I went back and forth mentally. I had spoke with my people trying to figure out if I should post this, because my experience recently has seemed to be that whenever I post specific information that shows certain facts, there are groups of people who have attached themselves to certain belief systems that refuse to re-examine the belief that they hold so dearly to. You understand what I'm saying? Even when there is evidence that disproves very clearly what they want to believe. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this anyway though, all right, on this FEMA situation. And what I'm telling you, this is not for those that love their beliefs. It's for those that appreciate having their understanding grounded in reality. Okay. Now, with the previous hurricanes, right? There have been major damage that was caused by the hurricanes in a lot of communities. All right, there's been talks about conspiracy theories associating with FEMA and government plots to take advantage of already struggling communities and being used to veer the direction of the election and all this other stuff. Okay, now FEMA was never a perfect machine, and we've seen this from Katrina. Right, it was never a perfect machine. After all, it's being run by imperfect people. Okay, but that imperfection is being used to manipulate people into extremist corners. Okay, I can see it in my comments. All right, Kenneth Cole, I'm looking at your ass. Okay, listen, Kenneth Cole, like, why you call me out? Cause man, I've been seeing your messages, bruh. All right, and I see the direction that I think, that I know, that I trust, that I know that you coming from. Okay, but let me keep it going. I'm not gonna get all, you know what I mean? Listen, FEMA. Let me tell you what they got going on. There's been lots of talks that, FEMA hasn't been helping anybody in the community, and it's due to the fact that the current administration is involved in not having FEMA help out anybody. Listen, a North Carolina man was arrested after threatening FEMA employees that were helping in the Hurricane Helene efforts. So here's what's been going down. Let me just give you a little bit of the background, okay? There have been armed militia. Let me make sure I say this right. There was a report that an armed militia or something to that effect was preventing FEMA from being able to carry out their services. All right. But it sounds like that situation has been more or less like localized. It wasn't really an armed militia. It was a person. All right. A person that was threatening FEMA employees from helping in the hurricane efforts. All right. Some guy in North Carolina, right, he was arrested, charged with going armed to the terror of the public after he threatened FEMA team members who were working on recovery efforts for Hurricane Helene. So a lot of people were under the impression that the president might have given out some kind of order that he didn't want FEMA to help the people. And this all has to do with some kind of like election situation. It was weird. It was very weird. And I just make sure I wanted to throw out here that it was an actual man that was threatening the FEMA employees to the point where they had to relocate. So it's not like they didn't want to help. It's just that they had to relocate from what they were doing. All right. FEMA said they continue to support communities impacted by Helene and help survivors that apply for assistance. For the safety of our dedicated staff and disaster survivors, we are helping. FEMA has made some operational adjustments. They're going to continue to be open as scheduled. Survivors continue to register for assistance, and we continue to help the people of North Carolina with their recovery. All right. So, those of y'all that have heard that FEMA is not helping, FEMA is letting you know, no, we're definitely out here helping, all right? There was an initial report that there was a truckload of militia that was involved, but after further investigation, it was determined that this guy acted alone, and there was not a truckload of militia or anything like that, but this one guy was threatening FEMA. It was weird, okay? Let me just throw this out here, okay? Because I saw a lot of comments yesterday. Okay? Listen. And Greta Berry, I definitely want to apologize if I made you feel any kind of way. All right, Greta Berry, I think I saw your comment. I think it was Greta Berry. Listen, I apologize if when I speak and talk about, folks being slow, if I talk about Stockholm syndrome, okay? I apologize. Not if, but when I say things that are offensive. Really, I do. I really do mean that. I think I just hate the idea of people being like, I hate the idea of someone talking crazy to you and they think that it's cool to talk crazy to you because maybe like they think less of you or they think very little of you. Okay. Like, and the thing about it is I hate the idea that they feel like they can talk crazy to you from a podium. Right. But if they were in your house, they wouldn't be able to talk crazy to you. Okay. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Mr. Grab him by the pussy. That's who I'm talking about. Okay. Y'all know I don't like to cuss. If this man said he would grab your daughter or your wife by the pussy, I would hate that. Okay. If he stood in your house and told you that, you would hate that. You would not allow a man to stand in your house and say, man, I could grab your daughter by the pussy, bro. Okay. If he told your wife, okay, or your husband, you ain't gonna be able to vote again. I don't think you'd be able to stand that. Told your son, man, I'll shoot you in broad daylight and not be charged, bruh. I don't think you would stand for that. But for some reason, this guy is able to say it, and the heinous things that he does and says is just minimized because he's standing at a podium. But like, you wouldn't allow a person with that kind of track record to stand in your presence and talk smack to you. You know what I mean? This man said that people that come from the third world country of Haiti, they're from a shithole country. And then I'm supposed to believe that this dude is supposed to be a good leader. When a good leader, Obama, told me like, yo, man, I think as a leader, this is who you should select as a leader. And then this guy's sitting there telling me I'm from a shithole country, grab my wife or my daughter by the pussy is cool. If he say that, like, that's cool? I don't think so, bruh. And so I feel deeply offended when people try to tell me like, yo, man, like, yo, this guy is really trying to look out for you. When I know he said black people only can relate to him because he got a damn mugshot. This nigga's straight disrespecting y'all. He's disrespecting me. He's disrespecting my kids. He disrespecting my students. You know what I'm saying? The kids that I look at on a daily basis. All right. Every single Haitian that I know, my mama will vote for this man. And he told my mama she from a shithole country. And he told my mama he'll grab her by the pussy, bro. So as far as I'm concerned, And I know you like, oh, I thought this was a Christian channel. Yo, this is a celebrity news joint done by a dude that's a Christian who hates to curse. I'm telling you what this man said that I find deeply offensive. And I know that he appeals to misogynists. A misogynist is a person that has a prejudice against women. At the end of this video, I'm going to go over a list of things that let you know whether you are dealing with a misogynist or not. Okay? Let me go to my shout outs real quick. I know a lot of y'all been out of shape, but like the dude said in Hotel Rwanda, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I can't care. This guy straight disrespects you. I got no respect for somebody that talks to you like, and I got no respect for somebody that tells you he'll grab your daughter by the pussy, bro. I won't respect a man like that. I can't. I think that person is heinous and that character is heinous. You cheated on two of your wives, and then when you found your third one, you was cheating on another woman that you was with. Your character is heinous. You know what I'm saying? And I find it offensive that you telling me you want to be my leader, and you won't even allow like yourself to be booted out of the position. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but I'm offended. I'm offended. This guy thinks he's worthy of fitting the bill. He is not worthy, not in the slightest. When you minimize, let me not even go there. Let me go to my shout outs, okay? I know a lot of y'all tuned out. I really could care less, all right? I finally got a platform where I'm able to speak some kind of truth, and I'm speaking it. You're like, this is not true. You're hurting my feelings. Hey, look, man, this ain't about feelings. We just dropping information, okay? If you pick it up or you don't want to pick it up, that's your business, all right? Listen, shout out to who we got over here on that. E-Double said, yesterday was Columbus Day. That means you can take anybody's stuff and pretend you found it. I like that. Columbus Day. You can take anybody's stuff. Ain't that like California? I thought that's what they do in California. Well, not anybody's stuff, but you know. The Duke of Tears. The Duke of Tears said, voting for Kamala is like crapping in your pants and changing your shirt. That really is funny. It ain't true, but it's funny as hell. Okay? You're like, wait, hell ain't funny. Exactly. But that was good though. That was good. Vibes with Harp said, you're doing a good job, bro, especially when you preach about God. Oh, I appreciate that, man. And I'm not, I guess you could say I'm preaching about God, but I like to look at it as I'm teaching about God. All right. Somebody, Hotbox says, shout out to Celeb. Thanks for the shout. Yeah. No doubt. What's my time looking like? Let me see. Oh boy, here come my boy. Here come my boy trying to hit me up, probably sending me more Candace Owens video. You'd be surprised. People be sending me Candace Owens video like she authority. I'm like, man, she's been proven to spread misinformation, and she hasn't even like backpedaled and been like, oop, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Where we at over here, man? If I spread misinformation, I want to definitely, you know what I'm saying, backpedal. Like somebody said, like, yo, 5 people didn't die in the insurrection. And I had to look it up. And there was a couple of people that they said died after the fact. And, you know, one committed suicide. That's just a completely different thing. So I got to go back and look it up because I was under the impression it was 5 people that died. But it's like, no, it was like 4 and a possible or something strange like that. Okay. So we're going to double check on that. But let me give you this last piece. Okay. And finally, listen, man. T.I. was with his boy, right? Young Dro, okay? And they was both at the Breakfast Club. When they was at the Breakfast Club, Young Dro was speaking on his problems and his struggles with addiction, right? This is wild, okay? And when he did that, he had one of his peoples that came with him in the background, and he kept laughing at dude, Young Dro, while he was talking about struggling with addictions. It was really strange. And Young Dro almost put hands on this ninja. I want you to take a look at this joint real quick. So I don't know if dude in the back was with Young Dro or if he was with T.I. T.I. had to deal with the dudes like he was in like damn high school. Like I do that on a daily basis. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, wait, put your hands down, watch out. I got to stand between folks all the time and do this kind of thing. I'm still surprised I ain't get knocked out. What I'm saying is this. Look, these kids, some of them, a lot of them are bigger than me. You know what I mean? I don't know what y'all feeding these kids now, but they all huge. They're all huge, okay? But here's the thing, man. Dude that was laughing in the back, he need to be cut. Yeah. You know how many times I've seen a picture of young Dolph And then the guy, Justin Johnson, that murdered young Dolph, I always see him in the background of the picture of young Dolph. And they show him in the background, like, see this, he had him in a circle. A guy that's sitting there laughing at this man talking about one of the lowest periods. And this when bro said my daughter was addicted. That fool found it funny. He found it funny. And that wasn't nothing to laugh about. High or no high, it don't even matter. Even if you high, what the hell is so funny? That's what bro was about to put hands on him. People like that, you don't need them in your circle. You don't need them in your circle. Your circle really, it gotta be small because not everybody is looking out for your best interest. And when people ain't looking out for your best interest, man, I don't even think you need them around you. You don't need them as part of your entourage. You know what I'm saying? It really does not benefit you. Real talk. You know what I mean? And I think the sooner you learn that, the better. You don't need everybody in your entourage because not everybody is looking out for your best interest. You follow what I'm saying, man? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, man. Hey, look, that's the end of all my stories, all right? But I got to get you on this misogyny thing, okay? Listen. So if you don't want to hear this part, you're free to tune out. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking out for those that, let me tell you something, okay? The word misogyny, right? That what we're seeing in our culture today, I think we're seeing misogyny in action, okay? Misogyny is this ingrained prejudice that people have against women in our culture, okay? And it shows itself in a lot of ways. It could be discrimination against women. It could be belittling women, right? Violence against women, okay? Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's overt. It's in your face, all right? But oftentimes, like, you could see it on an individual level. You could see it on a systematic level, how they're portraying women, okay? And there's a lot of misogyny in our culture. So I want you to know, and if you're mad at me, then just express why in the comments below. I don't delete comments. I don't. Y'all can talk crazy about me. I don't really, you know what I mean? We don't delete comments. If your comment is deleted, YouTube did that, not me. I would never delete your comment because I believe in free speech. Okay? But here's how you could know if you might be dealing with a misogynist. All right? Whenever, how can I say this? If you see a situation, right, where a woman is earning less money than a man, but they're doing the same work, you're probably looking at misogyny. It's a gender pay gap situation. You understand what I'm saying? If you see a situation, right, like where women are reporting like systemic abuse or silencing and retaliation for speaking out against sexual harassment, you're looking at misogyny. You understand? What in American media, advertising, entertainment, all right? If women are being depicted in hypersexualized ways, so their breasts are all out, okay, their booty is all hanging out, and the whole 9 yards, whether they want to or not, or whether we're seeing it reinforcing the idea that their worth is tied to their physical appearance, it's got to be sexual, it's hypersexualized. We're seeing misogyny in media. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, women, right? They tend to be more active in politics than ever before, okay? But they still are underrepresented in leadership roles, okay? The perception that men are more capable leaders or decision makers, it persists in many areas. I've heard, I was watching a podcast where the dude was like, you really want a woman? You think a woman can really lead the country and be a leader? I'm like, why not? They've been raising families like crazy. And I'm not saying whether they did a good job or not. It was difficult. It's difficult for any single parent to raise a family by themselves, but they've been holding it down. A lot of America was raised by single mothers. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't, like, they don't, like, to say they don't have the leadership capability because they're not a man. I've seen a man that has led all kinds of whatchamacallits, and he's got nothing but loads and loads of criminal charges. So to me, it's like your gender doesn't make you qualify for the role. Now, I do believe in the headship of a man or the husband to a wife according to God's roles and what have you. But I also believe that a woman is perfectly capable of being in a leadership position. I don't know if it's the proper order biblically, but I believe it's definitely possible. There's a lot of women that have better character than a lot of men. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you this one. I think this is crazy. if a woman is being labeled as unlikable or bossy, okay, but it's not applied in the same manner to a man, that's reinforcing a double standard. You understand what I'm saying? If a man could be that and he's like he's praised, but a woman can be that but she's bossy, you're probably listening to a misogynist. You understand what I'm saying? And here's the last thing I'm gonna tell you. All right, if a man and a woman are both doing heinous things, right? Or they have poor behaviors, okay? But the poor behavior is minimized, ignored, or glossed over for the man, but for the woman, it's really, really bad. Then you're looking at misogyny, or you're hearing from a misogynist. A good example would be if we're seeing hoish behavior from a man and hoish behavior for a woman, and you look at the man like he's praised or is good, but you look at the woman like, you know what I mean? Like she's morally wrong compared to the man, you're probably on some misogynistic type stuff. In other words, you're probably displaying a prejudice against women. You see what I'm saying? We're not looking for pats on the back from women. Trust me. Women and men, to me, they're all very special. None is more special than the other. You understand what I'm saying? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree. All right. Do you think, I asked this to my boy. My boy was doing all kinds of backflips. I asked him, do we have misogyny in America? He tried to tell me no at first. Only to backtrack and say, well, he kind of sort of thinks so. But he didn't want to admit it because he didn't want me to be right. What I'm saying is this. Do you think we have misogyny in our culture? And how do we stop it, man? Is it right to be prejudiced against women? Do you think that the election could potentially have this prejudice at the forefront of it? Because I think this election largely has misogyny at the forefront, and I think there might even be racism at the forefront too. You know what I mean? Especially like when I compared behaviors, I'm like, this person's behavior is way worse than this person's behavior, but it's ignored for this guy. But for her, like, you can't even. You know what I mean? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, and be sure to let me know what your thoughts are, man. You know what I'm saying? And if I offend you, once again, I'm saying it out loud, man. I apologize. I don't mean to offend folks, call them slow because they don't agree with what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm sure that there are lots of areas that I'm wrong, and I just haven't seen that yet, man. So just let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong, and we can have that conversation, man. Thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celeb news.